My name's Mark Taylor. I'm Secretary of the Sydney branch of the Australian Electric Vehicle Association. And here's a group of our cars.
Awesome. So tell me about the Electric Vehicle Association. It looks like these are regular cars but with something extra.
That's right. We just convert old cars to electric. Our association's been running continuously since 1974. It's a nationwide association with branches in each state. We've got 4 cars here today. A very enthusiastic bunch of guys who just love working on cars from a diverse field of backgrounds, from electricians to electrical engineers to computer geeks to just people who just love tinkering with cars to people who care about the environment.
And how hard is it to modify a car to work just off electricity?
It's not that difficult if you're mechanically minded. You just pull out the motor and all the petrol auxiliary parts, so the fuel tank and the exhaust system and the radiator and things, just replace it with a big electric motor and a lot of batteries and a controller to go between the two of them. It's fairly simple really when you look at it.
Is it expensive to do?
Can be. Batteries can get fairly expensive if you want to go long distance. My little Suzuki van, which I've got sitting behind me, I originally converted it with lead acid batteries. It cost about $10,000 for the car all up, but since then I've probably spent about the same amount on the new lithium-ion batteries, but it's turned it into an absolutely totally different car.
So when it's a different car, what's the difference that you get from switching to lead acid to lithium batteries?
Weight was the main difference. When I originally had lead batteries in here, I could only have one passenger, but now with lithium batteries, because it's so light, I can have the back seat back in there and carry three other people with me. The performance was massively improved with lead acid batteries. I was lucky to get 50 kilometres, but now I can get over 100 kilometres easy. And it's just a beautiful car to drive.
And is it really quiet?
Oh yeah, dead silent. Don't hear a thing. Especially when you come up to lights or something and you stop, it's just silent. All you can hear is all these other cars around you sort of purring away, but no, it's really good and it's really quiet on the road, no vibrations or anything.
And how long do you have to go between recharging?
Like I say, it'll do 100k range, but that's if you're driving at 60 kilometres an hour. I charge it up at night, it might take 4 hours. You can do it off peak if you get it wired up that way, but yeah, you normally park somewhere and if there's a power point handy, you plug in just to give you a bit more range, but yeah, that's what you normally do.
And how much cheaper is it to run on electricity instead of petrol?
Well, for the 100k driving, I might spend $2 recharging, but I've spent a lot of money up front on the battery pack initially. So over the lifetime of the battery pack, like say 4 or 5 years, you do end up in front, but it's more than just a financial saving. It's an environmental thing, and it's just the fun of this group of people who just love converting cars.
And have you looked into solar panels?
Yes, you need a lot of solar panels to charge a car, but if you have solar panels on your house, there's no reason why you can't. I know people in Armdale and stuff who've just on solar, and that's what they charge their car off. And it does work, but it's a bit hard. I've got a little van here, I could put solar panels on the roof, so when it's parked out in the sun, it gets a bit of something, but it has to be sitting there for quite a while to get me any decent sort of range. Yeah.
And where's the association based?
The main part of the association is in Melbourne. We have the national committee is based all over Australia, so we try to sort of pick and choose, make sure that someone from each state who's on the national committee. But we're active in every state. Different states seem to do different things. The people in the ACT seem to be all like driving Nissan Leafs and iNeeds and that sort of thing. While in Sydney we do a lot of conversions, in Perth they do a lot of conversions, and it's a really good bunch of people. And we have a national AGM next month, so we'll be all going to Melbourne, I think, to meet and have a discussion about where the club's heading.
And if people want to get involved, where should they start?
There's a website, ava.asn.au, or we do regular meetings at Castle Hill for the Sydney branch, and we also have a meeting every week somewhere at someone's workshop just to see how they're going with their project and just get out, have a steak and talk about EVs.
Can people actually buy electric cars off the shelf in Australia?
You can now. There's a Nissan Leaf, there's a Mitsubishi iNeeds. All the car companies seem to be slowly bringing the cars into the country, but there's no real incentive as far as the government or registration costs or anything like that for people to buy EVs. I think they make a really good second car for doing the shopping, picking the kids up from school, and that's how they should be marketed, as a second car. You've got your petrol car for doing long distance, but the EV is perfect for short distance.
And that'll probably change as the batteries improve.
Oh, most definitely, yeah.
And the charge stations, I guess. Like in America, there's a big thing from Tesla Motors to put charge stations all over.
I think charge stations are a good idea if you've got the infrastructure and you've got the volume of cars on the road. At the moment, I charge up at home or I charge up at my destination because I know there's going to be charging available. If there's a charge station and you get there, someone's already using it, well, you're sort of stuck. So I think it's good if you're doing a consistent run all the time, like to work and back. Yeah, they're perfect for something like that. How it goes.
Yeah.
This is my little Suzuki van.
Because I want to look.
Little Suzuki van.
You've got a glowing green thing there.
The glowing green thing, I've got a trackball in there, so
Yes.
I control my touch panel with a trackball because it's too hard to control with your finger while you're driving along.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's a big DC motor down the bottom there. Just bolted onto the gearbox. I still use the gearbox, but no clutch. There's a big controller. So the motor comes from America, the controller's from America. There's a little DC converter which keeps my little torque.
So we've got glowing green things, we've got the motor, we've got the controller, the display.
Which has got all of that was developed here in Sydney. The battery management system, all these batteries need something to regulate the voltage going in, the voltage going out.
Right. Wow, with flashing lights as well.
We developed all that here in Sydney. We send it all over the world now.
So those flashing lights telling you something?
Well, that's the communication path of the batteries for the battery management system. Each one of those little boards monitors the temperature and the voltages.
Right.
That comes up on the little display down here. So that little bar graph down the bottom is all the voltages of all the separate
right.
batteries. So there's 450 batteries in there. There's 45 groups of 10, which gives me 144 volts. And the amps I want to drive around. So as you do muck around series parallel, so get the right voltage. And it's been a brilliant little car. Yeah, I love driving it.
That's awesome. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. My pleasure.